All right. Apparently, Dave Brown, the legendary Memphis announcer, who's one of the nicest human beings in the world, was invited to come to this production, and they put him on commentary for a Memphis street fight match with Jeff Jarrett against Eddie Kingston. And again, this is why Tony's booking is much like you were talking about Impact's booking earlier with a big budget and the ability to just do any whim that they want to do. But because Tony is an old video wrestling mark of these things, he's seen the Tupelo concession stand brawl. Jeff Jarrett's father ran Memphis. We'll have a Memphis street fight and have a garbage match with a bunch of fucking furniture and gimmicks and a bunch of interference and a bunch of blah, blah, blah. And we'll have all our talent involved in all of this chaos and lunacy for no fucking reason than except that we're in Memphis and the boss booker is a mark. And we'll make Dave Brown talk about it. Can you imagine what Dave Brown thinks about any of this shit?
Part of the problem is, even if it all had worked out perfectly, Dave Brown's an older guy now. Even in his younger days, he was not a screaming announcer. If you think of any great Memphis brawl, not to take anything away from Dave Brown, you think of Lance Russell calling the action. Oh, look at what's going. You don't think of Dave Brown doing that. That wasn't his role. And even when Lance left, it was Corey Macklin doing the arena matches and doing the brawls in the arenas, not Dave Brown. So you brought him in to do something that really wasn't his thing to begin with. He's a little more subdued now than he was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, obviously. It's like, we have this legend here. How can we use him in the worst way possible? Again, if you want to have him out there to do something, give him a match to do something. Why this match? It made no sense. And by the way, how many matches in AEW has your boy Jeff Jarrett had ketchup or mustard sprayed on him in the last year?
Because again, Tony is narrowcasting to the, and I love the old Memphis tapes, right? But Tony is narrowcasting to the young fan who likes silly fake wrestling that has heard about the crazy stuff they did in Memphis 40 years ago and doesn't understand that this is completely the opposite of how it was presented and what it was done and why it got over and the whole 9 yards. It's just a display of chaos, which Jeff is happy to do, I guess, for whatever compensation he's being provided for being in the middle of all this shit.
Did you watch this at all?
No. I'm reading the recap. I haven't seen this shit. I don't intend to. It's been a family weekend for once. I'm spending some time with Stacy and Harley instead of fucking Tony and fucking Goofy.
Well, the issue is more Jeff and all of his people. This street fight, it ended up being Eddie Kingston versus 5 people. No one came out to help. In the ring, in the ring, Eddie was battling Jeff and Lethal and Sanjay at the same time with the Giant on the apron and Karen running around. It was almost too much happening. Even if you just want the standard thing of, I hate the heel, they won, gosh Garnet, Dosh Garnet.
Dosh Garnet?
Gosh darn it!
You know what? Dosh Garnet was a hell of a fucking MMA fighter, I'll tell you that.
Out of Bulgaria, I believe. But it was just, there was so much going on. Eddie lost. It was really, really bad booking. It was a bad match, but the fact that it came down to Eddie Kingston versus 5 people and no one out there to help him, really bad stuff.
But it says he won.
He didn't win.
Oh, well, wait a minute. It says Jarrett covers for the pin and win, and then winner. I've read it wrong. All right.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett won. And there are people who like, Jeff Jarrett's had such a great year. Yeah, because he's playing along with all the stupid shit, so people like the stupid shit like his stuff. His run in AEW is awful.
Well, why is that Giant there except to block the fucking sun on hot days? He does nothing, and people still run roughshod over the group with him standing there like a fucking giant pinhead.
Well, he took a guitar shot, and he also gave Eddie a choke slam. And Jay Lethal was all over this. I mean, it was almost like Eddie versus Jay Lethal and Jeff the whole match. And then finally Sanjay had to get involved. And the Giant just randomly would appear and either take a guitar shot or deliver a chokeslam with Karen just running around nonstop. This is TNA. You want to talk about the TNA revival? This is TNA, right? This match was TNA personified.
Hey, let me ask you a question. We'll move on. If the Giant here, Zippy, and Eddie Kingston were both working for the WWE, and Zippy chokeslammed Eddie Kingston, would you ever see Eddie Kingston outside an iron lung ever again on television?
You know, I maybe in the past you could say no, but again, WWE TV nowadays with the feckless giants that even they've had.
Well, I guess you're right.
But Zippy's the most feckless of them all because he's been there a while now. Does he do anything? You're never getting anything out of him, it doesn't seem like. Where's the big India tour with Zippy as the main eventer?
I don't know if they've got compensated for making him the suits yet. Because you know he ain't buying those off the rack.
Eddie should have gotten that big security guard in the funny suit from last week from the Christian Cage segment.
I don't think that guy wasn't that big, though.
He was ready for action.
It was Zippy's having his shit custom made by Omar the Tent Maker.
This Jeff Jarrett stuff is so bad.
Well, I know how you feel about, and I'm sorry to have to agree with you. It's like again, another one of my children has disappointed me by turning to a life of crime.
It's everyone trying to hang on. The only way they do it is to play along. They saw what Chris Jericho did. Chris Jericho got it right. That's the business model. If you're an older wrestler and you don't have much going on, and Jericho had stuff going on, but if you don't have stuff going on, latch on to the younger wrestlers, agree with everything they do. Even if you don't, shut up, keep it to yourself, play along, do whatever they want. Tell Tony he's doing a great job. No matter what, even if he's not doing a great job, doesn't matter. He's a billionaire. Tell him he's doing a great job and that you just want to help. That's the fucking business model for too many older wrestlers now.